When your cat puts their paw on you, do you actually know what they're trying to say? Most people just smile when it happens. It feels cute, maybe even a little funny. A tiny paw resting on your arm while you're scrolling your phone, working on your laptop, or trying to relax on the couch. It seems like such a small moment that it's easy to ignore. But the truth is, that tiny gesture carries a surprising amount of meaning. In fact, it's one of the most emotionally loaded things your cat can do with you. And strangely enough, many cat owners respond to it in ways that completely miss the message their cat costs. Trying to send, cats are not loud communicators. They rarely shout their needs. They don't wave their paws dramatically or make obvious scenes like some other pets do. Instead, they rely on quiet signals, small movements, gentle touches. And when your cat places their paw on you, they are choosing one of the most intentional forms of communication they have. It may look simple, but behind that simple movement is trust, instinct, emotion, and sometimes even a little bit of vulnerability. If you've ever had your cat quietly rest their paw on you, there's a good chance they were trying to tell you something important. And honestly, before we go any deeper, I'm curious about something. If your cat has ever done this to you, that gentle paw touch that almost feels like they're reaching out, tell me about it in the comments. Moments like that say a lot about the bond you share with them. I read those stories all the time, and they're always fascinating because every cat has their own personality and their own little way of speaking to the people they trust. One of the most common reasons cats place their paw on you is surprisingly polite. Your cat wants something, but they refuse to beg for it in an obvious way. If you've spent time around dogs, you know how different their approach can be. Dogs will bark, whine, jump, or stare intensely until you give them attention or food. Cats rarely operate like that. Instead, they use subtle signals. That soft tap of the paw is essentially your cat saying, "Excuse me." Maybe you're eating dinner and suddenly feel a gentle paw resting on your leg. Maybe you're typing on your keyboard and a small paw presses against your wrist. It feels almost deliberate, like they're interrupting you politely instead of demanding something. And in many ways, that's exactly what they're doing. Cats evolved to be careful communicators in the wild. Making too much noise or drawing attention could be dangerous. So instead of loud demands, they developed quiet signals. That little paw tap is controlled, calm, and surprisingly intentional. It's their version of raising their hand and saying, "I'm here, I need something, but I trust you'll notice." And here's something that makes this even more interesting. Adult cats rarely communicate with each other using meows. Meowing is actually a behavior cats developed mostly for humans, but paw touches come from their natural cat-to-cat interactions. It's a signal that exists in their instinctive language, which means when your cat chooses to communicate with you this way, they're using one of the most natural signals they have. Now, here's another layer most people never realize. When your cat puts their paw on you, they might actually be marking you as theirs. Cats have scent glands in many parts of their body, including their paws. When they press that paw against your skin, your clothes, or even your face, they're leaving behind tiny scent signals that other animals can detect. To us, it just feels like a soft touch, but in your cat's world, it's a quiet declaration you belong to them, not in an aggressive or possessive way, but in a deeply affectionate one. Cats mark the things that matter most to them. Their favorite sleeping spot, the corner of the couch they've claimed as their personal throne, the objects that make them feel safe and comfortable, and sometimes they mark you. So when that little paw lands gently on your arm, it's not just a random movement. It's your cat performing a tiny ritual of connection, a way of saying, "This human is part of my world." And if you're someone who really loves understanding cat behavior, moments like that become incredibly special. And by the way, if this kind of thing fascinates you as much as it fascinates me, you might want to subscribe and stick around. This channel is basically a place for people who genuinely want to understand their cats better. Not just laugh at cute videos, but really see what's going on inside those mysterious little minds. Another surprising reason your cat might place their paw on you is something that sounds a little dramatic at first, but it's actually very real. Sometimes your cat is checking on you. Have you ever been lying down completely still, maybe taking a nap, when suddenly your cat taps your face or presses their paw onto your chest? A lot of people assume their cat is being annoying or trying to wake them up for food. But there's another possibility. Cats are extremely sensitive to movement and breathing patterns. When you're asleep or very still for a long time, you stop producing the usual signals they rely on. No talking, no shifting around, no eye contact. From your cat's perspective, something about that silence can feel unusual, so they investigate. That paw on your chest might actually be your cat feeling the rise and fall of your breathing. And that little tap on your cheek might be their way of triggering a reaction, just to confirm that everything is okay. Animal behavior researchers sometimes refer to this kind of interaction as a type of wellness check. And interestingly, cats tend to do it mostly with the humans they're closest to. So the next time your cat wakes you up with a random paw to the face before you get annoyed, consider the possibility that they were simply making sure you were still there. And if you've ever experienced that moment where your cat randomly taps you while you're resting, I genuinely love to hear about it. Stories like that are always fascinating because they show just how aware cats really are of the people they live with. There's also a deeply emotional reason behind paw touching that goes all the way back to your cat's earliest days as a kitten. When kittens are nursing from their mother, they instinctively push their paws against her stomach in a motion called kneading. That movement helps stimulate milk flow, but it also creates a powerful emotional association with comfort and safety. For a tiny kitten, kneading means everything is okay. It means warmth, food, protection, and closeness. Even though adult cats no longer need to knead for milk, the emotional memory of that behavior never disappears. The feeling of pressing their paws against someone they trust remains deeply wired into their nervous system. So when your cat places their paw on you, especially when they seem relaxed or sleepy afterward, they may actually be tapping into that ancient feeling of comfort. In that moment, you represent safety. You're the place where their guard can drop, the presence that makes their world feel stable. And there's one more reason behind this little gesture that might be the most powerful of all. Sometimes when a cat rests their paw on you and leaves it there, they are doing something that goes against their natural survival instincts. Cats rely heavily on speed and balance. Having all four paws available allows them to react instantly if something unexpected happens. But when a cat lifts one paw and places it gently on you, they're giving up part of that readiness. They're choosing connection over caution. In the wild, being caught off guard could be dangerous, but your cat isn't thinking about danger in that moment. They're thinking about you. They're relaxed enough, safe enough, and trusting enough to place themselves in a slightly vulnerable position simply to stay connected with you. That tiny paw resting on your arm might look like nothing, but to your cat, it means something enormous. It means they trust you. And honestly, when you really start to understand what that small gesture represents, it changes the way you see those quiet moments together. The soft paw on your sleeve, the gentle tap on your hand, the way they sometimes reach out without making a sound, those aren't random actions. And they're your cat speaking in the quiet language they know best.